French Pacific results for the first round of French national snap elections have shown on Sunday a firm radicalisation, especially in the case of New Caledonia. In both of New Caledonia's constituencies, the second round will very much look like a showdown between pro-independence and pro-France contestants. The French Pacific entity has been gripped by ongoing riots, arson and destruction since mid-May 2024. Koroi Hawkins spoke with Patrick de Cloyter on the RNZ French Pacific desk about the results.
Thank you, Thomas, for sidano te mimi back more, Patrick. How have things panned out after the first round of the French snap general election?
Well, as you know, the first round of the French national elections, snap elections, took place on Sunday. And in New Caledonia, first of all, it is important to say that very high participation rate, 60%. And what transpired from that is that we have now some kind of a showdown between pro-France and pro-independence candidates. It's more radical, it's more confrontational. In the first constituency, the pro-France leader, who is also the incumbent MP in the French Parliament, Nicolas Metzdorf, received 39.8%. Metzdorf was the rapporteur at the recent debate in French National Assembly. He was defending this very controversial constitutional amendment, but also that particular text sparked the riots that erupted since mid-May. He is sort of representing the radical side of the pro-French loyalists. On the other side, the other candidate who qualifies for the second round is Omaira Neslin. She received 36.3%. She's an elected member of the local Congress. She was also a controversial traveler to Azerbaijan a few weeks ago, where she signed an agreement with the Azeri parliament on behalf of the Congress, which also sparked at the time another controversy within the Congress. She belongs to Union Caledonienne, and she descends from a long line of prominent political leaders and chiefs of New Caledonia. Now, the other constituency of New Caledonia, Emmanuel Chibau, pro-independence, did very well with 44% of the votes. He was running against Alcide Ponga, another Kanak, who is the president of the Pro-France Rassemblement, and Ponga received 36.1%. There are no candidates for the platform, the whole platform of FLNKS, because due to recent tensions within the FLNKS and increasing pressure from the Union Caledonienne, the platform decided not to field any candidate, but instead the Union Caledonienne fielded the candidates under its own name.
So what does the result so far mean for New Caledonia?
So for New Caledonia, it's important to say that the local issues have dominated, of course, this poll because of the riots that are still ongoing for the last 7 weeks. So the issues of French national politics are quite far away from New Caledonia. Talking about the favorite party on the national level, the Rassemblement National, well, the candidates in New Caledonia didn't really fare that well. And on the pro-France side, the candidacy of Nicolas Metzdorf, as opposed to when he first contested in 2022, and the Macron's Renaissance Party, this time is running under Les Républicains Rassemblement Party in France. So he's like distancing himself from the French president. What transpires from those results of the first round in New Caledonia is that these results are more or less a real reflection of the political situation in New Caledonia. It's a little bit like there had been another referendum on yes or no to independence, because that's really what all these votes were really trying to express. And therefore, it looks like this is another factor that confirms that these elections, French elections in New Caledonia, are more and more a bloc-to-bloc approach. There was no bread and butter issues, for instance, the cost of living or that kind of thing.
And what can we expect from the second round?
Well, at the second round, it is to be expected probably that it would be a confirmation of the first round. There are now 4 finalists, so to say. Like I said before, in the second constituency, we've got Emmanuel Chibaou, who is well placed to win the seat in the one constituency for the pro-independence side. And on the other one, it's a little bit closer between the two candidates, but Metzdorf could be retaining his seat, even if that means a narrow victory. Now, on the French national level, these results for New Caledonia, there is still a question mark about, who will be in power after the elections. We know that the far-right Rassemblement National is a favorite. So everyone is wondering who will come to power after these French snap elections. If it is the Rassemblement National, then not much has been said about New Caledonia during the French campaign. But on a few occasions, Rassemblement President Marine Le Pen, especially on one occasion last week, she was talking to French television, and she said, amongst other things, that there could be another referendum, but in a very long time. Anyway, that's what she said last week during the France 2 TV interview.
Je pense que c'est aussi la conséquence de toute une série de maladresses qui ont eu lieu au cours des mois précédents. Et il faut retrouver justement le chemin d'un dialogue. Car, encore une fois, l'objectif, c'est essayer de remettre tout le monde autour de la table. Parce qu'on ne peut pas, en Nouvelle-Calédonie, envisager un avenir communauté contre communauté. Un nouveau gouvernement, un Rassemblement national, pourrait probablement tenter de renouer le lien. En tout cas, ce qui est sûr, c'est que le gouvernement actuel, compte tenu, encore une fois, des erreurs, des maladresses qui ont eu lieu, n'a pas la possibilité de le faire.
So looking ahead after the second round this Sunday, 7 July, and depending on the outcomes, there could be one likely scenario which would involve amongst those 2 New Caledonian MPs, one would be pro-France and one would be pro-independence. That brings us back again to an atmosphere of confrontation and bloc to bloc, more polarized than ever. That would mean also bringing the New Caledonian issues to the national level in the French National Assembly, bearing in mind that there's been and there is still a climate of unrest in New Caledonia. The background is economic collapse and a profound fracture in this sense of living together that seems to have been the motto of New Caledonia for the last 30 years. And of course, the still unresolved political questions about the long-term future of New Caledonia.
The second round of the French national snap election is set down for the 7th of July.